Ladies and gentlemen, you hear the jazz, you know what time it is. It is time for replay review. Now, I have gone on record to say that Venom is the worst character in the game. However, I would love to be proven wrong, okay? And so that's what we have here. We have King Africa, who is rated the #1 Venom as of the time of this recording, which I think is going to be 3 days ago. As of 3 days ago, #1 Venom, okay? Climb top of the leaderboards versus the #1 Dizzy. Now, I did take a look at the footage, right? Or at least the end result of the footage. Venom loses. But it's okay because I feel like there's still a lot of things that we can learn from the character, as well as learn from Dizzy, because I am interested in some Dizzy tech as well. Regardless, we have the mother flipping whiteboard. It's back, baby. It's time for some analysis paralysis. Let's get into it. All right, everybody's favorite duel 1 round start. Okay, that was interesting. Now, what's interesting about this is that Dizzy had to do run up 5K. I wonder if that beats /. That might actually beat /, or Venom's // in this case. Not sure. But Venom opted for a very interesting 2K. I'm not sure what that option was, but hey, gets stuffed out, gets knocked down. Early burst, this is fine. An early burst is okay because like Dizzy kind of like was gonna get started. She's getting a little scary. All right, when she knocks you down, she's scary. That is where she's scary. So I'm actually okay with this. Now we're at the zoning wars portion. Now this is what I was talking about before, where like Dizzy, what's actually very interesting about this zoning war is that Dizzy, like, she can negate the first fireball. I'm not sure if you guys noticed. Check it out. She can negate the first fireball, but this projectile actually will not hit Venom until, like, before his actually connects with Dizzy. So the zoning war is actually a little awkward in Dizzy's favor. Dizzy actually has to travel kind of like here, because what I also noticed in fighting against Venom is that Venom is very, very skinny. He's a very, very skinny boy, okay? And because of that, if you just ice spike Venom, or if you try to do ice spike from full screen, Venom's hitbox actually does not get hit by it at all, even if he's in the middle of Stinger, which is very, very interesting. So how will Peluna adapt, and how will King Africa actually take advantage of this? So King Africa, whiffing buttons in the sky. We'll say, okay, whiffing buttons in the sky. Stinger, stinger. Okay, jabs are out. Hold on. Get the frig off me. All right. Tries to go for an interesting confirm. Jumps right over the Michael sword. We're playing a ton of nooch. He's doing a lot of far slashes. Now, this is something that's pretty cool, right? So you charge this, not because it gives you more frame advantage, because it actually does not give you more frame advantage, but you actually charge it so that if they flinch, they get hit, which is nice. But didn't flinch, but there's so much space between them. He actually is able to jump over this Michael sword. And this, like, air Crocus to smack that is also very interesting. It's kind of like an autopiloted, just jump forward, hit Crocus, get that space. But as I mentioned in my video, all it takes, boom, it's just one. Boom, and now you're stuck. What's interesting about this knockdown situation, right, is that you knock down very, very fast here. Boom. You knock down very, very fast. If Dizzy was spaced out, like even just like right here, right, and then did fish, you're actually able to just jab the fish or air throw her. But if you do it point blank, this is something I did not know. If you launch the fish, if you launch the fish point blank, they actually cannot jump in this case, because the fish actually hits them way too meaty. So the fish hits cross up, right? Boom. Into the same knockdown situation, but so this is something that I realized that Peluna loves to do. Peluna loves their Wings of Light. But Venom smacks it out, right? Because that was a fake knockdown, right? Boom. Gets knocked down, gets clipped out of the sky, right? Peluna carries him to the corner, or you tried to carry him to the corner. This actually could have worked. Honestly, if he did like 2K or something, I think that would have worked better, but he wanted to get the maximum optimal. Gets run up scooped, and that's the end of the round. Okay, run up scoop. It gets us all. All right, I'm super duper weak to run up scoop. Round start again. Peluna, no fear, just run up 2K 2D. Double fish. I don't know why you would do the double fish there. Unsure. But it's all good. But King Africa is mashing now. Sting us. Remember that doesn't work. Right. Runs up to claim space. The Stinger is honestly one of the best things that Venom has in this matchup, right? Honestly, one of the best tools that Venom has, period. Like Stinger in a vacuum, this move right here, Stinger, like in a vacuum, this move is fan-fucking-tastic. This is like an A+ move, right? So the fact that Venom has something like this is really, really good, because not a lot of characters that are considered weak have like super duper, like something that is super duper strong. So this is something I would consider to be super duper strong for what is considered a relatively weak character, right? But Paluna pops, Wings of Light, doesn't matter, gets sniped out of the sky. Boom, knocked down. That was a nice combo, right? Good amounts of damage, right? That's honestly the best case you could have gotten. Goes for delayed high, blocks the super. Now Paluna tried to super here because he thought that King Africa was going to actually press a button. King Africa, stoic though, but not able to really get a run up close slash, I don't think. So goes for a throw, goes for guaranteed damage. Boom. I think this kills. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Nice, clean, consistent. It kills. Very good. All right. Third round start. What are you going to do? Okay. Very weird. I don't know what he's trying to really do. Maybe that's something that beats, like, if you anticipate your opponent's going to do far slash, right? And you don't really want to get into the far slash war. Maybe that beats far slash. That's something I got to lab out. Keep that in mind. Write that down. All right. But now we're nooching it up. Now, this move right here is very, very good in neutral, right? Like, in these weird back and forth, this move is great because, like, usually if you're kind of jumping, usually if you, like, kind of jump and take a step back, you have to have a pretty good move to come down with, right? And Paluna was going to snipe him coming down, right, with Michael's sword. This is actually a very good call from Paluna, because if you just kind of, like, do this sort of, like, jump back and whiff button, right, you're very vulnerable from here. The only thing is that you're covering this much space. But Michael's sword, what makes Michael's sword so good is that it's able to cover so much more space non-committally in the horizontal field. But Venom, he's able to stall his descent with Crocus Sight. Very nice, right? But he gets caught anyway. He gets frozen, knocked down, and this is not good. Gets mixed. I think that stays in front, which is kind of gnarly, right? Going for the full throw. This is going to make Wings pop. So Wings actually finally pops. This is nuts. Like, how did this even happen, right? He gets 5H into Wings, and I believe that when you do this point-blank sweep into Fish, I know we're trying to learn Venom, right? But I'm also interested in Dizzy. When you do this, that you can go for a very messy, or not a very messy, a very messed up left-right, depending on how you jump, right? So that stayed in front. I think King Africa was anticipating a cross-up, and then you get this really gnarly confirm. Really messed up. King Africa, boom, gets yoinked, right? Dizzy's throw, amazing for Wings of Light activation. Jeez Louise, he just lost so much health. From what? Right? But now, how does King Africa respond? Oh, he's getting zoned. He's getting zoned. He's getting zoned. All right, it's fine. It's fine. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it, buddy. Hold it. He's getting zoned. All right. Bursts out. I like it. Oh, I wonder. Okay, great. So it ate the projectile. Dizzy gets clipped, right? This is one thing that I kind of don't really like too much about the super, though, is that it doesn't do that much damage on hit, right? It just doesn't. And the combo that you get after it also does not do that much damage, right? I think he was trying to hit the ball, right? He's trying to shimmy him. Now, what's interesting is that this Stinger, I believe he's doing the S version. Okay, I did a little research. I believe he's doing the S version, was only -2, which is basically plus, right? -2 is basically plus. As in, you can, like, jump. If you're able to jump without your opponent, like, hitting you, then it's basically plus, because there's no real way for them to contest you without making a super duper hard read. So I really like this, because he has a ball up there, right? He has a ball up there. He's able to delay his descent, +5 or +7, stays in his face, right? But now, tries to run away from Dizzy, but that ice spike is just an ever-looming threat. Round start number 2. Okay, I like that from Dizzy. But he gets counter hit. Gets counter hit. Boom. Oh, this is something for you guys to know, right? If you're ever uncomfortable against your opponent round start and you don't really know what to do, right? Just sitting and blocking might not be the best idea, but dash blocking is a great idea. Why? Because when you dash block, right, like what he did, you're able to more easily get insta blocks, right? Which, depending on the move, might matter, might not really, right? But more importantly, you are in a position that your opponent is not anticipating you to be in, right? This is honestly, dash blocking is a very, very strong tool, because say he was like back here, right? And Paluna did this exact same block string, he would have been pushed back way too far, right? Because he was able to dash block and block the same round start. He was going to block the same round start anyway, but because he was able to cover this much more space, he was able to get this far slash, right? He was closer. This might not have worked if he just sat back and blocked normally. Anyway, gets a knockdown, gets the charged QV, the charged Q5, partially charged. Now this is what Paluna loves to do. Paluna loves to shoot wings, or Paluna loves wings. Now this is, if you guys are trying to learn Venom, this is something that you probably should know. Close slash into, what is that, 6K into Kurakusoto, right? This is an interesting charge, right? This is an interesting charge technique where you actually want to start charging about here, right? You want to buffer the 6K after the second hit of close slash, right? And then be charging before the 6K animation actually starts so that you can get this, right? It's something that you definitely will have to practice. It's a bit more of an advanced technique, but it's very, very strong because you're like vortexing them in and then doing it. It's really, really great. It keeps your opponent much more close to you, because it doesn't matter how plus he is. If it pushes him back too much, right, then your plus frames don't really matter, right? Dang, I love this whiteboard. Okay. Right? Pressures with the +2 stinger, right? Because Paluna's trying to take his turn by pushing forward, right? Paluna knows that they have wings. They were probably trying to go for a throw, knowing that he's minus. By the way, if you're -2, but your opponent blocked the move in the air, then you're actually plus. Okay? I don't know by how much, right? But Paluna's trying to take his turn. Maybe if Paluna did a far slash or something, might have caught him, right? Catches him. This is a good game to play, okay? This is where Venom, I think, is at his strongest at this range against other zoners and against certain other characters, right? But specifically against other zoners, because at this range, your opponent can't exactly zone you too effectively, right? Whereas you're able to sort of like push forward and back up. So look, he backs up, Stinger. Like, Stinger's very, very great from mid-range. Like, or from this end of the screen. From here, Stinger, like, there's just too much travel time, right? So you don't really want to do it. But especially if you have another ball on the screen, look at how much damage this Dizzy took. Yeah, we got the stuff right there. Look at how much damage Dizzy took just from one projectile. That's a lot. That's a lot of damage, okay? And you don't want to be eating too many of those. And then he can just run back up. All right, he doesn't really run back up, but then he gets ice spiked. And then it's game time, baby. Oh, he fudged up. I think he tried to go for a fuzzy, which is super gnarly. It's game time. He messes up the fuzzy, but Dizzy dead up could have gotten game time right there. Ice spike. What did I tell you guys? I think that he wasn't fully full screen. Yeah, he wasn't fully full screen, and so this ice spike hit. Like, that's the thing, is that Dizzy in this matchup, when Venom's fighting Dizzy, her ice spike comes out faster, but they have to be not full screen. It can't be like here and here. It has to be like here and here, right? Just a little bit beyond full screen, right? So even if you like dash up once and block one of the stinger balls, then you can just immediately go for it again, or go for ice spike again. Knockdown, fish. Now this fish, this is important to know, okay? If you're ever fighting Dizzy, this is important matchup knowledge to know, okay? This, from this distance, boom, right? This fish is not meaty. It's not going to hit meaty. It will not, okay? Only from point blank after ice spike, because if you get hit with ice and then get sweep knockdown, it's not the same as a regular 2K 2D knockdown. You knock down way faster. That's something that is very important for you guys to know. King Africa, whoa, King Africa knew this, right? And took his turn. Definitely took his turn. Boom. Gets the dust. That's just a classic, but he cannot kill because no damage. Remember that, no damage. Gets clipped. We're back. We're back at a weird zoning war, but Dizzy doesn't want to be at the zoning war, but now Dizzy does, right? Remember, from full screen, I'm not going to harp on it too much, but I'm going to harp on it one more time. From full screen, Dizzy doesn't want to be here, right? But Dizzy does want to be here. Boom. Catches him. right? If King Africa stayed full screen, King Africa would have been able to get away with more Stinger Balls. But because he didn't, you know, is what it is. Gets the far slash. Good job, King Africa. All right, we're going to speed through these next rounds. Next round start. Nice. I like it. Okay. Jumps right over the fireball, right? But this mid-range is awkward. This mid-range is awkward for everybody, right? Knocks him back full screen, but he doesn't really want Dizzy to be full screen, right? It's a little weird. I like the pressure from both. We're playing nooch. We're nooching it up. He jumps over. This is one of the strengths of Venom. That jump D, it's really, really strong to just halt the momentum and come down. Forces the burst out of him, right? Gets tagged out of the sky. Right? Jumping at Venom is not the worst thing in the world because if you anticipate a stinger, you can actually just clip him here and he would die, right? But King Africa, he's doing his thing. He's jabbing it up, right? Plus frames, trying to keep her at bay. Huh? Now we're back. Jumps over the ice spike. Gets stingered, right? She is weak, but he gets knocked down. Doesn't matter though. This is actually okay. So what's interesting, right? This is some matchup stuff for you, okay? The ice floor drifts Dizzy forward even if she's blocking, right? So he's micro dash blocking to get in a range because look, he's still drifting forward. Now, all of a sudden, Q5 being minus, I believe it is like -7 or something like that. Minus something or other. We can just check, right? That's why we have it. We can just fact check. Q5, it is -7. Now, -7 from certain distances is not a big deal, but -7 when your opponent's drifting forward is kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal, and it's kind of annoying. So, now, Dizzy can do her thing. Gets in basically for free. Basically just for dash blocking, right? But, just staying solid, right? Just the loops. Dang, golly. And this is what I was talking about, right? Q5 is not crazy, but that hitbox is nuts. That hitbox is nutty, and because you can charge it, you make your opponent think, oh my gosh, I'm going to flinch right here, and then they die, right? So it's very, very good. Very solid fundies from King Africa. Very good stuff. I'm starting to learn a lot. One of the things that I'm learning is definitely like doing the S version of Stinger a lot more, like way more. I only really do the H version of Stinger, which is like kind of a bad habit. So that's definitely something that I need to pick up. All right, here we go. Round start. Okay, we're seeing the exact same round start because they fought each other enough times, right? We've already gone through, I believe, 6 or 7 round starts. So they're kind of like trying to pick up on each other's habits, right? King Africa knows that the far slashes are not, or I believe they have the exact same frame data of far slash. So you can't just like chuck it out willy-nilly. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But I like King Africa's approach of just like, ignoring that, because if they both dash blocked here, they would have like tech throw and then we're kind of back to normal, right? Both of these guys don't have very strong round starts, especially against each other. So I like this approach of just kind of like dash block, do nothing. They both have seen to do, they've both done that to great effect in this set. So dash block, do nothing, right? Kind of challenge, but he gets clipped by Michael's sword. Push back full screen. Now Dizzy knows that Dizzy cannot chuck this ice floor. If Dizzy chucked the ice floor, she would have actually gotten hit by this ball and would have been knocked down, and then Venom would have gotten in for free. How do I know? Because it happened to me. It happened to me a few times. That's how I know. Anyway. All right. Now that's something that's interesting about Palena. Palena loves doing this narwhal into this, but King Africa was ready for it. He's like, no Sersky, get the frick out of here. Boom. Tries to go for a delay low. Right now, this is interesting. Or tries to go for a delay high, but as stoic as always. The 6K is minus, but if you're anticipating the whatever, you can kind of just press a button, or you can kind of just press a button on your opponent if they're anticipating for you to do the plus frame. That's exactly what he does here. Gets an early burst, back to zoning, right? But now Venom has established his way of like, yeah, like even though it looks like King Africa did nothing, he positionally challenged the Dizzy player, right? He positionally challenged because he's not full screen, right? But he's not at like a very weird, awkward, like way too close to Dizzy range. He is threatening with his gun. Boom, right? That's what you want to do with Venom. You want to threaten with Stinger. You don't have to shoot it all the time, but you want to be in a position where you threaten with it, right? Especially when you're dealing with Dizzy and Wings of Light. Dizzy can kind of just sit here all day long until Wings of Light pops, and all of a sudden you're cooked, right? Literally deep fried, stuck in the microwave, right? No fear, right? Plus 17. This is plus 17 or something like that. It's plus something, plus a lot, right? But my boy King Africa, he's like, I don't want none of that. I'm mashing, right? Smacks Dizzy, but this is where Venom's weaknesses kind of come in, right? Boom. Hits with the tip. The Q5 does not hit and therefore does not get the knockdown. It's okay. This is in the corner, right? Boom. You don't want to take too many of these. Smack. Nice positional threat. Now he can just kind of chill. He's got meter. He wants this on the screen anyway. It doesn't matter if he gets hit, right? This does a lot of shit. And what's messed up is that Polina did not FD at all. I don't know why Polina did not FD whatsoever at all. That was not smart, right? Because you were definitely getting chipped down. Okay. Wait, what was that round start? That was very weird. That's an interesting round start. I wonder if he was anticipating for Polina to dash block or to run up and dash. I'm curious. Very curious. It's okay though. Right? Polina backs up, loves getting wings, loves having wings in play. All right. Little Dizzy Glaze. My bad. Okay, my bad. Little Dizzy Glaze. Polina loves to have wings in play, which I think is very unique to Polina's playstyle, which is that if you always threaten with wings, right? If wings is in play and you theoretically get the next hit, wings is 80% likely to pop, okay? 80% likely to pop in your opponent's face, even like from like a block string or something like that. If you already have wings active, and then you hit your opponent with anything. So say you pop wings, play good neutral, you clip them. All of a sudden, your opponent is threatened with losing a ton of their health, okay? So I really love Polina's play style and working around wings, right? And you can always deactivate it, right? If you don't want it active, you can always deactivate it, even if it pops and they're not close, right? Which I've seen Polina do. Ooh, that's interesting. He could have definitely gotten scooped up, but there's too much threat here for him to really get scooped up. This is what I really like about Venom, is that Venom is actually able to set a ball here after this, right? Now, Polina does backdash, which is fine, right? That's life. Gets footed, smacked by the biggest Michael sword you've ever seen in your entire gosh darn life. What I love about this sword, again, sorry, we're trying to learn Venom, right? But what I love about this sword, boom, is that if you're at a weird mid-range, if you're playing an awkward mid-range, sometimes it's really good to just chuck it out, right? Even in places that doesn't really feel like you're advantageous. In fact, it's almost better in places that you don't feel advantageous, because if you catch your opponent swinging, then the reward that you get off this is just insane. And it goes farther than any far slash, right? You get knocked down, right? And you threaten. That was crazy. I never seen that before in my life. That was nuts, right? Wings are in play. Wings get smacked. It's okay. Venom, he's close slashing her. He's close slashing. This is what Venom's good at. Close slashes. He would have probably done this anyway because there was no threat here from Dizzy. Dizzy did not have enough meter for it to matter. Yes, I have a meter bar too, okay? Dizzy did not have enough meter to actually reversal him if he popped this, so he was going to do this anyway. But because it clipped, not the whole thing is going to trigger, but the grenade is. Dizzy tried to jump out, did not work. Now Venom has a knockdown. He's going to shoot it again, but does he have meter? Okay, he did not have 50 meter. If he had 50 meter, he could have not done that. But he was too slow to actually get he should have jumped early. He was too slow to actually get the empty jump low. This is exactly what I was talking about. Right? Dizzy shoots ice, tries to shoot floor, bang, gets clipped by ball. All of a sudden, Venom's right in your face. Okay, what do you do? And then you get caught, and then you die. All right? We're not going to see the rest of the set, but golly. So there were definitely a few things that I loved about King Africa's play. One thing was working around the S version of Stinger, right? And even though like he's minus, right? He's -2, but he's only -2, like sort of, right? And even then, I wonder if it's only -2 point blank, because even if there's a little bit of travel distance between the ball, say a frame or two, that might be the difference between being -2 or like 0 on block or even +1 on block. So I think he really used that to his advantage to kind of threaten that very aggressive mid-range that Venom is honestly the best at least when he has the advantage. Another thing I loved was, and I already kind of mentioned it, was in neutral working around his spatial, like his spatial awareness of not necessarily pushing right? Not necessarily pushing forward and trying to press a button, but trying to threaten at a range where you need to be worried about his stinger, because the stinger comes out super duper quick and it just kind of gets his game plan started. Now, again, against certain matchups, it's not the greatest, especially since you don't really want them full screen. But say he stingers you once, then runs up on you again, stingers you again, all of a sudden you're in the corner, dude. You're getting pushed to the corner like without anything. Then he can just kind of like set ball, shoot ball, all this other jive turkey nonsense, and then, you know, you're cooked. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for your boy. I hope you learned something. I know I sure did. King Africa, Helena, Dizzy, forever. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and all that Jimmy jazz, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.